Healthy Rebel Radio is sponsored by the Healthy Rebel app. 300 plus secretly healthy, delicious, mouth-watering dessert and treat recipes made with all-natural, whole food ingredients. Now available for download on the App Store and Google Play. Find out more details at healthyrebel.com.
Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio. I'm your host, Dr. David Deiser. I'm here with my Gaming Health Healthy Rebel co-founder, Amy Lane. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm alright.
Just a few quick health and wellness stories to review today. We have to start with this first one from the New York Times, which is a story about how the sugar industry paid Harvard researchers in the 60s to write reports about how bad saturated fat is for you, which made people believe that sugar wasn't that big of a deal. When there was actually research at the time that showed cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, all had relationships with sugar intake, and it wasn't so much the saturated fat.
Right.
Crazy.
Not surprising.
Not surprising. They were only paid at the time $6,500, which would equal about $50,000 today.
It doesn't seem like enough money to lie to the general public and really hurt people's health.
Not at all.
You'd have to pay quite a bit more, you'd think, these days.
You would think so. The way the story goes is that the sugar industry, their lobbyists, now it's called, I think it's called the Sugar Foundation. I don't know what it was called at the time. But they gave these researchers a packet of studies. And they said, please write a report based on what you have found from these studies. And they said, sure. And then, of course, the report was perfect for what they were trying to do.
Right. But we must say that this is refined sugar, by the way. So don't, swing too far and think this is fruit or healthy carbs.
No, of course not.
We're not talking about that.
Then we had years and years and years of just fat-free foods.
Chemical.
Which ended up being really high sugar.
Or chemical.
Yeah.
Like when I was growing up, it was the diet phase. When my mom was always on whatever fad diet, but it was the aspartames, the Becel, margarine.
Gross.
Trans
fats.
It was the made up stuff that.
Yeah, it became really popular.
Spray Pam.
Is it Spam? Pam spray. Oh my gosh, right?
Butter flavored.
I remember using that a lot.
Splenda Equal.
I mean, they're still popular. It's crazy. And now, who was it that we were reporting? Was it Pepsi or Coke who went back to their original formula? Maybe it was Coke. Their original sugar-free formula that had aspartame, but then they got rid of the aspartame, but then no one liked it, so then now they're back to it.
Gotta make that money, honey.
That's right. Anyways, this set off a chain reaction of diet fads and...
Well, there's always going to be... What diet fads mainly are obviously restriction-based. We all pretty much know that. That's why we think of the word diet as like a villain. But the restriction is usually trying to villainize a food group and eliminate the food group, and then...
You'll be good to go.
Good to go. Where, we think we're making things super simple, but what we're not. We're making it way more complex than it has to be, and we're coddling ourselves and making things way harder on ourselves in the long run. The reality is your diet, which is the collective sum of all the foods that you eat, should just be real, natural foods consumed in normal portions.
Right.
That's it. It's not magic. And then there's certain things in there that you can manipulate to get better results. As in, have more stable energy, to reduce your waistline, and to burn body fat at a faster, more effective rate. There's definitely manipulation, and I practice it with my members. But it's not... abusive. Right. And it's not taking out a whole food group and saying that it's evil. I mean,
and it also shouldn't be causing more stress than it's helping. So many of these fad diets, when you're talking about removing a food group, not only are you going to be then missing a whole bunch of nutrients that you might need for proper health, but it's also very dramatic.
I just like how somehow the public got tricked into, with Atkins, that watermelon, this slice of watermelon will make you fat, But this caramel chocolate bar, Atkins bar on the shelf, that's good.
That's a good one.
Like, the fact that people get tricked into that you actually think, like, an apple is, like, what's causing your cellulite.
Well, it was influential the way it was promoted. Oh, my gosh.
I know, but we're smarter than that as a people. I got tricked into it.
Mm-hmm.
I was totally one of these people. And it's just, like, we gotta stop with the marketing and letting them take our common sense away.
Right.
No, like, like, they'd have, like, the Reese's cups, kind of, but they were Atkins. But, like, do not touch a kiwi. Yeah, like, if you want to be skinny...
Did they really say that about fruit?
About fruit? Yeah, it's fruit makes you fat. Carbs make you fat.
Jeez.
It's the stupidest conversation, and, like, I was totally sucked into it. I was, like, Mrs. Atkins at one time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, I did it all. I rode that roller coaster.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've got all the books. We just found them, actually.
That's what I said.
Sitting behind us right now.
That's what I'm saying. I got the books to prove it. I say, check out my bookshelf. I say it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and that's what... I mean, it's... why you're at where you are today. You're an expert in this field because of what you've been through.
Well, I just refused to believe that life was supposed to be torturous, that, like, I was damned.
Yeah.
I just, like, there was this little tiny, sometimes it was just a micro little voice,
mm-hmm.
or, like, a little tiny flame that was like, life isn't supposed to be this hard. Like, you're not supposed to suffer to, like, feel good.
Right.
Or, like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, you're not, like, just chosen to be a chubster.
Yeah, you had that little...
But it was tiny.
Little glimmer of...
But it was... and that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of the times people think that... I always talk about motivation. I know people are like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, we get where you are with that. But we think that motivation's this big, booming voice that comes in and, like, lassos us around the waist and, like, brings us to the gym and brings us to make the good choices. But it's not. Sometimes it's a little tiny, tiny flicker that,
mm-hmm.
like, just whispers once in a while, like, you're not supposed to suffer.
Right.
Like, your life is supposed to be easier.
Mm-hmm.
You're destined for a little more better than this. And if you listen to that, and feed that then it grows. Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, it's so poignant and so loud that now that's basically, I mean, egos always sneaks in, but... that's basically all I hear.
Well, recently I've been using that because I've been trying to... I should mention we have this rowing machine now, which I'm so excited about. I love it.
I just want to add that he found it on the side of the road.
It's so perfect,
which is so weird because he has wanted a rowing machine
for years.
Years. And he's talked about it, and I was always like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not spending thousands of dollars right now on a rowing machine in our condo. Another thing.
They're really expensive, even the used ones.
So expensive. And I was like, we have our basics. We are fine. I like getting outside. And then a couple of weeks ago, we were walking.
No, the day before my birthday.
Oh my god, it was too. The day before David's birthday, we were walking, and this man had put his rowing machine out, and it said free. And I said, oh my god.
We jumped on that.
I said, no, we did not. I shouldn't. If I didn't say anything,
I wouldn't even have seen it.
I would have walked so all I said was, there you go, Dave.
So perfect.
It's here.
Anyways, what it's reminded me of is back in my athlete days, using that glimmer of light, that glimmer of motivation to then get into a zone or get into a rhythm. Mm. With the rowing machine, it's really easy to remember about how important rhythm is.
It's so meditative. How would you say?
Yeah, meditative.
Yeah,
definitely. It's rhythmic in its nature, but then you can apply it to the treadmill, you can apply it to the elliptical, you're walking even, or even weightlifting. I find that when you use that little glimmer just to get it going, and then you breathe into the rhythm of it, it makes it so much easier. But you're getting a workout that's actually awesome, full body, But it can be applied to any type of cardio. Just remembering that you can use that glimmer to get into a rhythm. Well, and it's a breathing rhythm.
Yeah, and I trick myself a lot. Like, what I'll do is, we've talked about ways I trick myself into exercise. You can listen to an episode called Where I Put My Shoes, and I do things. I put markers around the house just, like, so that I do them. I have to put things away, and if I have weights in my hands, then I'll just do them, that kind of stuff. But one thing I often do when I really don't want to do cardio is I'll say, I'm just going to do 10 minutes on the elliptical.
Just 10?
Just 10. And then I'll get on there, and by the time 10 minutes goes by, I'm like, come on, Amy.
Yeah.
You can do another 10.
Yeah.
What ends up happening is I end up on there for 45 minutes.
You do the full workout.
I negotiate 10 minutes at a time with myself.
Yes.
because
you can do anything.
10 minutes is better than nothing.
Yeah, and you can constantly remember that you can do anything for 10 minutes.
Well, and that's what I do with when people are cleansing. Like when I first, like now I'm just so good at dedicating myself to whatever I decide because I find it competitive and just so rewarding. And now I'm addicted to people saying, "My gosh, you do what you say." So like I like that, right?
Yeah.
But when I first started and I was trying to turn this around, I would say, "You can do anything for a week. Just do this cleanse."
It's just a week.
Just a week. So I would do like the 21-day vegan, say, just a week. But by the time the end of the week came, it's like, oh, I just started to get into the energy of this. I'm starting to like, my senses are heightened. I'm starting to feel so good. My body feels great. I'm going to do one more week. And then I negotiate with myself for 3 weeks, And by the end of it, I've just transformed my lifestyle, and that's how I live now,
It reminds me of when you were developing this ability to focus, about how you were trying the different cleanses years and years ago.
Yeah.
And you've done all the intense ones.
All of them.
You've been through it. I remember
at
one point you doing the master cleanse.
Torture as hell.
And just insane
I think
stuff.
I did 30 days with no food.
You did. It was nuts.
It was...
I'll never forget it.
Actually insane. Well, you know how I got through that one?
Huh.
Because Beyonce did it.
Oh my...
And I was like, if Beyonce can do it...
That's how you did that?
Yeah.
Oh my...
Like, it was like, she did it.
She did it. She's human.
She is a human.
She's one of them.
When you start comparing yourself to Beyonce in your abilities, normal.
Beyonce didn't eat for a month.
And Beyonce can do it again. When you get real good and delusional.
Yeah. I like it.
But I did.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
Not recommended, by the way.
Never recommend
Don't
it.
ever do it.
It didn't lead anywhere good, and it actually, in the end, made my body a mess. And there's so many things like that I did that set me back. And if I could just love myself a little more, I could have just skipped it. That's why I'm so passionate about helping people. I took a good decade there and really went off the rails and just thought. I didn't realize I was thinking it, but I was like, how can I torture myself today? Just leading, like I ended up in a way worse situation.
Yeah.
If I just had me now, I could have been here faster, but, that's what my gift, like you take your pain and you make it your gift.
Definitely. We've all been through, I mean, that's the key, taking your pain and making it your gift. I remember two things, using an inhaler every single day when there was no need for me to do it, which then led to tons and tons of upper respiratory tract infections, and then taking allergy medications every single day and feeling just so sleepy all day long for many, many years. But I needed these because I had the symptoms. That was the thing.
You were numbed as a human.
Yeah, so we've all, I mean, my gosh, but you really do a good job at then practicing what you preach.
Right, but that's a developed, like that's something I'm very proud of because I developed it. It wasn't innate. It wasn't something I was born with.
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Yeah.
I love the Beyonce quote. Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
The second story we have today is one about exercise. It was published in a journal this morning that midlife activity associated with better cognition in old age, and not just because of improvements in the cardiovascular system, not just because of maintaining a healthy weight and maintaining low cholesterol levels. Basically what they're saying was, and this is beyond walking, this is getting out there and getting the heart rate up a few times a week in middle age is associated with better cognitive function in old age. And they're saying they standardized it, or they didn't take into account cardiovascular differences. So, because we originally thought that, if you exercise, you have maybe less plaque buildup, you've got better circulation, you're probably going to be able to think better as you age because you've got less oxidative damage. Now, they're saying, take that aside, it doesn't really matter if you work out consistently through these years, no matter what your cardiovascular health, you're going to feel sharper, more focused, better memory as you age. It's awesome. I love it.
I totally.
And it doesn't have to be intense. It just have to get the heart rate up. Break a sweat a few times a week.
Definitely. And I have to believe too that in middle age, people that are more active would be probably also more social. You'd make better food choices. You probably are more likely to have sexual experiences with your partner.
Definitely.
That are more enjoyable.
It improves testosterone release.
Yeah, but also, like with women, I think that, the more confident,
Absolutely.
all that stuff.
It
I think this is something that would build on itself. And I'm just trying to think of, I sound dazed right now because I'm thinking of women in my life that I know that are in their 50s that are really fit or really active, and they do have a great quality of life.
Yeah.
And they're smarter and more into...
Well, and they should feel more cognitively, efficient as they age.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with happiness.
For sure. And
right?
we shouldn't leave out immune function.
Right.
Because, like I've been saying for a few months now, there's Alzheimer's being related with poor immune function in the brain. Exercise is really great for the immune system. It improves immunity. We know that. So, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I see a huge correlation with women in their 50s, 60s, 70s that are inactive, have poor diet habits. I find that I've seen a huge correlation to like a general unhappiness that kind of leads to more gossip behavior, more,
Yeah, it's depressive.
Yeah, like it's really, which I feel is part of cognitive function because you can't see, the blue sky through the clouds.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, it's a good correlation. The final one I have today is one that I have to mention because it's a study done by, or sponsored by Deepak Chopra, who I really respect. And I love some of the work he's done. And he's trying to do some more research-based stuff. But he sponsored this trial at a major medical school, which looked at his program, his 6-day health and wellness program. And they were just trying to see if the things they were doing, you could actually measure some changes. We could take some blood work and see if there's actual, objective benefit to what we're doing. So his program, I should mention, it's an Ayurvedic program. I don't know all the details. I know that there's, a healthy diet, and there's exercise, and there's yoga, there's meditation, and then there's massage. But it's based on Ayurvedic principles, which are excellent. But I don't know the details of the program. The point is, it's a healthy lifestyle, and it's just for 6 days. At the end of 6 days, in the group that did the program, they compared it with the placebo group. But the group that did the program, they had better scores on the blood measurements they were taking, and these measurements were associated with a reduction in inflammation and a benefit to the cardiovascular system after just 6 days.
Doesn't surprise me at all.
So, we often when we think of switching to a healthy lifestyle, this is going to take time. But you and I have been talking for so long about how things can change in an instant.
Yeah.
The cells turn over so quickly, and we have a new body after so many years, and
it's about not putting pressure on that, because I feel like when I first started out and trying to change my life, I put a lot of weight in reading stories of aha moments that just changed everything that day. So then I kind of put pressure on myself and I kind of thought, I'm not spiritual enough, or I'm not doing the right spiritual practices, that I'm not having this breakthrough, because mine was a slow,
right?
But I had breakthrough moments when I let go of wanting the breakthrough moments.
Yes.
I did have times where I went to bed at night with something and woke up the next day and I've been free of it for the rest of my life. There have been those times.
Yes, you have.
But it's when I let go of it. And I just surrendered to however long it takes. But always keeping in mind that instant healing happens. It does happen.
It really does.
Spontaneous healing.
Spontaneous healing happens. And in this study in particular, they're looking at some markers of metabolism. They're assessing, okay, how is this going to represent some inflammation changes down the road, right? What about blood sugar levels? What about how our cholesterol level is going to look based on what we're seeing after just 6 days? And you can predict things are going to be better. It's really cool. It doesn't take much. Simple changes can have major effects for the system. I love it. That's Healthy Rebel Radio for today. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher Radio and leave us a review. If you'd like to get our episodes to your inbox once per week, subscribe to our newsletter at DamiHealth.com. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.
See you.
Healthy Rebel Radio is presented by the online health and wellness center, DamiHealth.com. Since 2009, Amy Lane has successfully coached thousands of women through her signature program, the Bikini Body Program. Join today to work exclusively with Amy to unveil your greatest yet to be from the inside out. Go to DamiHealth.com for more information.
Thank you for listening to Healthy Rebel Radio. Please connect with us on our community pages on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram, all at the handle @DamiaHealth. For weekly recipes, articles, and all our episodes straight to your inbox, join our newsletter at damiahealth.com. You can find all the links discussed in today's episode in the show notes. Thank you for joining us, and see you tomorrow.